making plays. And then I think their defense did a nice job of just keeping us out of rhythm a little bit.
K-State offensively only had 170 yards of total offense for Navy 421. 323 of those yards for Navy were on the ground, and Malcolm Perry was Malcolm Perry. Had a huge day with the quarterback with 213 yards on 28 carries. The coach Climate said after the game he felt his defense played a pretty good game.
He's a great college player, and he makes them go. And we had assignment sound football. I'll be honest with you. I thought our defense played really well. If you ask Ken if two of the plays they were going to score on would be trick plays or basically score on, I think he'd have been surprised too. But I'll tell you what, our guys played their tails off on defense, and that's a team that's putting up 50 on everybody, and we held them to 20 and gave up a couple of plays.
In the first half, only thing K-State really had going for it was a Phillip Brooks 66-yard punt return for a touchdown, K-State's fifth special teams touchdown of the season. And for 75% of the second half, K-State had -1 yard of total offense. Skylar Thompson, after the game, he told the media the Navy defense did a great job of disrupting what K-State was trying to do.
We had a good game plan for us. We knew they were a high-pressure team. They did a good job of mixing up their looks, showing it from one way and coming from the other way, and playing some different looks behind it that I wasn't really expecting. Kind of got us off rhythm. We kind of missed some plays there the first drive. I missed a throw.
In the fourth quarter, K-State's offense was finally able to hit triple digits of total offense. 6 plays, 79-yard drive that was capped off by Skylar Thompson, 1-yard run. The offense's only touchdown of the day, and Coach Kleiman was very happy about that drive.
We were able to pick up some of the pressure. They pressured us an awful lot, and so we were able to pick some things up. And I was pleased with Joaquin Gill made a couple of really nice plays on the drive, and we were able to get some rhythm. And so that score got us back to tied. And in reality, we probably shouldn't have been tied. They had really outplayed us in that second half.
Skylar Thompson finished 10 of 14 for 124 yards. Skylar was also named the offensive MVP for K-State. But this loss really makes Skylar very hungry for next season.
It will light a spark in myself and this whole team. We got a lot of young guys that are going to come back and help us out next year. And a loss like this can really set us up, and we'll be sitting in our stomach for the next 8 months.
Back to the defensive side of the ball, I agreed with Coach Kleiman. I thought the Cats did a good job. Defensive player of the game was linebacker Elijah Sullivan with 11 tackles. Senior Reggie Walker had K-State's only sack of the day. Senior Devin Aitel even had a nice day with punting the football, had a 64-yard punt in the second half.
Did a really nice job on special teams. We prepared really well. We thought we had an opportunity to make a play on the punt return, and we had even have a nice kick return in there as well. Didn't capitalize, but special teams has been great for us all year long, and I was excited for Devin to end his career with a really nice day, and Blake's been steady all year.
And Coach Kleiman, during his opening statement, wanted to make sure he thanked his seniors.
Thanks for laying the foundation for a new era of Kansas State football. And so pleased that I had the opportunity to coach those 27 seniors. They bought into the new voice in the front of the room. I told them we were going to challenge them. I told them we were going to love them. And I told them we were going to believe in them. And we did all three of those things and poured our heart and soul into those guys, and they poured their heart and soul into us.
K-State ends its first season under head coach Chris Kleiman with a record of 8-5. Once again, the Wildcats fall in the Liberty Bowl to number 23, Navy, by the final of 20-17.
Fort Riley.
And it's time for Sunday Morning News.
With a check of news here on Sunny 102.5, I'm Sam Henny. A Manhattan man charged with first-degree murder and attempted aggravated robbery will seek a new attorney. At a hearing on Tuesday, it was determined that the public defender's office will not be representing 29-year-old Richard Jones due to a conflict of interest. He'll return for a status hearing on January 31st. Jones is charged in the November 1st shooting death of 24-year-old Tanner Zemechnik at a West Manhattan apartment complex. He faces additional charges of aggravated battery and aggravated assault against the female victim. Jones remains jailed on a $1 million bond. The Riley County Law Board approved a raise in RCPD Director Dennis Butler's salary and benefits during a meeting on Tuesday. Butler's salary and benefits will go from about $150,000 per year to about $157,000. Manhattan Mayor and Law Board Chair Mike Dodson shared his appreciation during the meeting for the work Butler has done.
I think universally we appreciate everything that you and the department have done over the past year and appreciate your service to the public.
Butler also shared his appreciation to the Law Board and made sure to give credit to his colleagues in the RCPD. The staff that I have, the officers, correctional officers, civilians, perform an amazing job for this community, this county. They give it their all and they do a good job.